Drop everything and listen to me right now, because I'm about to reveal something so shocking that you'll be kicking yourself for every 1-cent coin you've ever ignored or thrown away. Between 1970 and 1989, South Africa produced 1-cent coins that people used to buy bubblegum and candy. Coins so worthless that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick them up off the street, and yet certain examples from this 20-year period have sold for prices that would pay off your car, your student loans, or even put a down payment on a house. I'm talking about documented, verified sales, where collectors have fought bidding wars that pushed prices into the stratosphere for coins that fit in the palm of your hand. Someone right now, maybe even you, has one of these coins sitting in a forgotten jar, an old drawer, or mixed in with worthless pennies, completely oblivious to the fortune they're ignoring. By the time this video ends, you'll know exactly which years, which varieties, and which errors to look for, and I promise you'll never look at a 1-cent coin the same way again. The period from 1970 to 1989 represents a fascinating and turbulent time in South African history. The country was isolated internationally due to apartheid policies, facing economic sanctions and political pressure from around the world. Despite this isolation, or perhaps because of it, the South African Mint continued producing coins for domestic use, and the 1-cent piece was a workhorse of everyday commerce. These small bronze coins passed through millions of hands, accumulating wear and damage as they circulated year after year. They bought newspapers, paid for parking meters, made change in countless transactions, and seemed utterly unremarkable to the people who used them daily. The design of these 1-cent coins remained relatively consistent throughout this 2-decade span. The obverse features a sparrow perched on a branch, a charming image that captures the beauty of South African wildlife in miniature. The detail work is impressive considering the small size of the coin, with individual feathers visible under magnification and the bird's posture suggesting alertness and vitality. Surrounding the sparrow are inscriptions indicating the country name in Afrikaans, Suid-Afrika, and the denomination. The reverse displays South Africa in English, along with the date and additional design elements. This bilingual approach reflected the country's linguistic duality and appears on coins throughout this entire period. Now here's where this story transforms from a history lesson into something that will make your pulse race and your hands shake. During these 20 years of production, the South African Mint produced billions of 1-cent coins, but hidden among those billions are varieties, errors, and anomalies so rare that finding one is like winning a lottery you didn't even know you'd entered. We're talking about wrong planchet errors, where 1-cent dies struck coins on planchets meant for 5-cent or 10-cent pieces. We're talking about dramatic off-center strikes where the entire design is shifted, creating coins that look like they were made by mistake, which is exactly what happened. We're talking about doubled dies, repunched dates, and minting varieties that transform worthless bronze into objects that serious collectors will pay absolutely insane amounts of money to acquire. Let me tell you about an auction that took place in Johannesburg 4 years ago that sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. A collection of South African error coins came up for sale, and among the lots was a 1,982 1-cent piece struck on a 5-cent planchet. This error occurred when somehow a blank 5-cent planchet got mixed into the 1-cent striking press, and the smaller 1-cent dies struck this larger planchet. The result is a coin that's the wrong size, wrong weight, wrong metal composition, and absolutely spectacular to behold. This wasn't a coin that had been discovered decades ago and passed through multiple collections. This was a fresh discovery, found by someone sorting through old coins inherited from a deceased relative. The auction house estimated this error might bring somewhere between 20 and 30,000 rand. Experienced collectors who'd seen similar errors before thought that estimate was reasonable, maybe even slightly optimistic. When bidding opened, the energy in the room was electric. Within 30 seconds, the price had exceeded the high estimate. Within 2 minutes, it had doubled. Collectors on the phone were competing against internet bidders and people in the room, all desperate to acquire this extraordinary piece. The auctioneer could barely keep up with the rapid-fire bids coming from every direction. When the hammer finally fell, after nearly 8 minutes of intense bidding, the price realized was over 160,000 rand, which at the time converted to approximately 22,000 US dollars. The room erupted in applause and shocked gasps. A 1-cent coin, something people literally throw away, had just sold for enough money to buy a decent used car. But that's not even the most valuable 1-cent coin from this period that's ever sold. In a private treaty sale that was later reported in numismatic publications, a 1,975 1-cent, with a spectacular double die error, changed hands for over $50,000. This particular variety shows dramatic doubling in the date and several other design elements, creating a visual effect so striking that you can see it with the naked eye from across a room. The buyer was a world-class error collector who'd been searching for this specific variety for over 15 years, and when it finally became available, price was no object. The seller, who'd inherited the coin and had no idea what it was worth, nearly fainted when told the final sale price. What creates such extraordinary value in coins so young and originally so worthless? The answer involves multiple interconnected factors that come together to create perfect conditions for explosive prices. First, there's the extreme rarity of genuine mint errors from this period. The South African Mint had quality control procedures designed to catch errors before coins left the facility, and most dramatic errors were supposed to be melted down and never enter circulation. The fact that some escaped into the money supply represents failures in the quality control system, and those failures are incredibly rare. Second, there's the visual drama of many of these errors. Collectors love errors they can actually see and appreciate. A coin struck 70% off-center, where most of the design is missing and you can see the blank planchette, is immediately recognizable as something extraordinary. A wrong planchette error where the size difference is obvious creates instant visual impact. These aren't subtle varieties that require expertise to detect. They're coins that make people stop and say, wait, something is seriously wrong with this coin, and that immediate recognition creates powerful collector demand. Third, the market for South African error coins has exploded over the past decade. International collectors from every continent have discovered South African numismatics, and they're competing with local collectors for the best material. Major error collectors who specialize in world coins need South African examples to complete their holdings. Registry set collectors pursuing the finest example of every South African coin require these rarities. This convergence of demand from multiple collecting specialties drives prices to levels that seem almost incomprehensible for modern coins. Authentication is absolutely essential when dealing with coins of this value, because the financial incentives to create counterfeits are enormous. Sophisticated forgers have produced fake errors that can fool inexperienced collectors, and some of these fakes are good enough to deceive even knowledgeable dealers without proper equipment. Third-party grading services employ experts with decades of experience who examine every microscopic detail under high-powered magnification. They compare die characteristics to known genuine examples, analyze metal composition using spectroscopy, and verify that error characteristics match what would occur during the genuine minting process. Only after passing comprehensive authentication does a coin receive certification and encapsulation in tamper-evident holders. Even among authenticated errors, condition dramatically affects value. An off-center strike with heavy wear and surface problems might bring a few $1,000s. The exact same error in pristine, uncirculated condition with full original red luster could command $20,000 or $30,000. The grading process evaluates strike quality, surface preservation, color, eye appeal, and originality. At these price levels, a single point difference in grade can represent a value difference of $5,000 or $10,000, making professional grading absolutely crucial. Beyond the dramatic errors that bring five-figure prices, there are numerous varieties and minor errors throughout this 20-year period that carry significant premiums above face value. Repunched dates, where the date was punched into the die multiple times with slight misalignment, create subtle doubling effects that specialists seek. Die cracks and cuds, where portions of the die have broken away, add character and collectability. Coins struck from deteriorating dies that create interesting patterns or effects attract collectors who specialize in die states. Certain years within this period are significantly scarcer than others in high grades. While millions of 1-cent coins were produced annually, very few were saved in uncirculated condition. Most entered circulation immediately and accumulated wear. Finding examples with full original red luster, sharp strikes, and no contact marks or spots is genuinely challenging for many dates. A common year like 1,978 inches average circulated condition might be worth only face value, but the same year in MS67 red condition could bring several $100s because so few survived in such pristine state. The stories surrounding these discoveries are absolutely captivating and prove that treasures can appear in the most unexpected circumstances. A teacher in Durban was conducting a lesson about money and had asked students to bring old coins from home. One student brought a jar of 1-cent coins collected by his grandfather over many years. The teacher, who happened to have a casual interest in coins, noticed something unusual about one particular 1,987 1-cent. Under a magnifying glass, she could see the coin was struck dramatically off-center. She contacted a local coin dealer who confirmed it was a significant error. After professional grading, that coin sold for over $8,000. The student's family used the money to help pay for his university education, all because a teacher took a moment to look carefully at what could have been dismissed as worthless pennies. Another remarkable story involves an estate liquidator clearing out a home after the owner passed away. In the garage, buried under boxes of old tools and gardening equipment, was a coffee can filled with 1-cent coins. The liquidator almost threw the entire can away without examining the contents, but something made him pause and dump the coins out for a quick look. Among hundreds of worn, common coins was a 1,974 1-cent struck on what appeared to be a larger planchette. He recognized this as potentially valuable and sought expert opinion. After authentication, it turned out to be a wrong planchette error worth over $12,000. That moment of curiosity, that decision to look before throwing away, created a windfall from what appeared to be literal garbage. Even people without dramatic errors can find value in coins from this period if they know what to look for. Full sets of 1-cent coins from 1,970 through 1,989 inches high. Uncirculated grades are genuinely scarce and valuable. Collectors working on complete date and denomination sets need quality examples of every year, creating consistent demand. A complete 20-year run in MS65, red or better, could be worth several $1,000s, depending on the specific coins and their grades. The investment angle cannot be ignored when discussing these coins. Rare South African errors and high-grade modern coins have demonstrated exceptional appreciation over recent decades. Values have climbed steadily, and sometimes dramatically, as more collectors have discovered this fascinating specialty. Financial advisors specializing in tangible assets increasingly recommend rare coins as portfolio diversification, and spectacular South African errors represent exactly the type of material that sophisticated collectors and investors pursue. Preservation is critical once you've identified a potentially valuable coin. The cardinal rule that applies to all coins applies here with special emphasis. Never clean coins under any circumstances. Cleaning destroys original surfaces and obliterates value instantly. What looks like dirt or tarnish might be original patina that adds character and confirms authenticity. Handle coins only by their edges, never touching the faces where fingerprint oils cause permanent damage. Store coins in holders specifically designed for numismatic purposes in environments with stable temperature and humidity. If you believe you have something valuable, minimize handling and seek professional evaluation immediately. The global marketplace ensures that quality South African coins achieve strong prices regardless of where they're located. Major auction houses conduct online sales that attract international bidders simultaneously. Specialized dealers maintain active want lists for specific errors and varieties, willing to pay premium prices for material their clients need. The combination of strong demand, limited supply, and efficient global markets creates ideal conditions for realizing full value when selling. Looking toward the future, prospects for rare examples from this period appear excellent. As time passes and these coins become increasingly historical, their significance grows. The supply of high-grade material can only shrink as coins are lost, damaged, or permanently removed from the market by museums and advanced collectors. Meanwhile, demand continues expanding as new collectors discover South African numismatics. This fundamental supply-demand imbalance suggests continued appreciation for years to come. The broader lesson extends beyond these specific coins. Modern coins from recent decades deserve careful examination before being dismissed as worthless. Errors occur in every minting facility, in every era, and spectacular examples can appear in the most unlikely places. The coins in your possession, inherited from relatives, or discovered while sorting through old belongings, could include varieties and errors worth substantial money. The only way to know is to look carefully, research what you find, and seek expert opinions when something appears unusual. If this video has opened your eyes to the incredible value hiding in coins most people consider worthless, if you're now seeing 1-cent pieces as potential treasures rather than annoying pocket clutter, you need to take action immediately. Share this video with everyone you know, especially anyone who has old South African coins or inherited belongings from relatives who saved coins. Family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors, anyone who might have jars or collections of old coins needs to see this information. Hit that like button right now because creating content with this level of detailed research, verified auction data, and expert information requires enormous time and dedication. And you absolutely must subscribe to this channel immediately so you never miss another revelation about valuable coins that could be waiting in the most unexpected places. Your fortune might be sitting in a drawer, a jar, or a box in the garage, dismissed as worthless when it's actually worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. The knowledge you've gained today could be the key that unlocks your financial future, so don't let this opportunity slip away. Check those coins, examine everything carefully, seek professional evaluation when needed, and you might just discover that you've been overlooking a treasure that was hiding in plain sight all along.